In a heartwarming tale of new beginnings and hidden struggles, Luz, a 17-year-old orphan, is given a chance at a new life by Adriana, a renowned doctor. With hope and gratitude, Luz embarks on a journey to become a sister to Adriana's daughter, Valentina, who is battling a serious illness. The transition to her new home is filled with emotional highs as Luz experiences the joy of finally having a family and a beautiful home. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect life, Luz begins to uncover unsettling truths about Valentina's condition and the secrets that Adriana is desperately trying to keep hidden. As Luz settles into her new role, her growing bond with Valentina is tempered by mounting tension and mystery surrounding Adriana's controlling behavior and the peculiarities of Valentina's illness. Luz's determination to protect her new sister leads her to investigate the troubling dynamics within the household, revealing a story of love, sacrifice, and the courage to seek the truth despite the risks. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. On a warm and radiant afternoon in Monterey, as the golden sun bathed the city in its warm embrace, Luz sat nervously in the passenger seat of Adriana's car. The excitement of this new chapter in her life mingled with a tinge of apprehension, making her heart race with anticipation. "I'm so overwhelmed with happiness," Luz began, her voice wavering but brimming with heartfelt gratitude. "I never imagined that someone would open their heart to adopt me, especially at this stage in my life, as I approach 17. Adriana, her gaze soft yet resolute, turned to Luz with an understanding smile. "I know," she replied gently. "Many people seek out infants or very young children." Tears welled up in Luz's eyes, shimmering with the intensity of her emotions. Adriana continued, her words imbued with warmth and sincerity. "From the very first time we spoke, I saw a unique spark in you, Luz. There was something about you that told me you would be an ideal companion for my daughter Valentina." Adriana's voice carried a deep sense of affection and earnestness. "Valentina is in desperate need of companionship, someone who truly understands her situation. I hope you can also assist with her care. She is battling a severe illness and remains confined within the house." Luz absorbed the gravity in Adriana's tone, her eyes reflecting a resolute blend of empathy and determination. "You can rely on me for everything," Luz promised, her voice steady yet tender. "Just the thought of leaving the orphanage behind and escaping the hardships I faced there is already a dream come true." She paused, gathering her courage to reveal more of her past. "Life in the orphanage was relentlessly harsh. Being the oldest, I saw my chances of adoption diminish year after year. Every time a door closed behind a younger child, a part of me felt like it was closing too." Her gaze drifted out the window, taking in the cityscape as she continued, her voice tinged with the weight of past sorrows. "It wasn't just about feeling lonely," she explained, her tone subdued but clear. "It was as if I was invisible, unwanted. The nights were the hardest, filled with the heart-wrenching sobs of younger children, knowing I couldn't offer them the family they so desperately craved." Turning back to Adriana, her eyes glistened with a mix of sadness and budding hope. "But now, with you and Valentina, I feel like I'm on the verge of a fresh start, a chance to be part of something I've always dreamed of, a family. I understand that caring for Valentina will be challenging," Luz added quickly, eager to reassure Adriana of her dedication. "But I'm prepared for it. My experience caring for the younger ones at the orphanage has prepared me in many ways to assist Valentina." Adriana's smile conveyed a deep sense of relief and gratitude. "I always sensed that there was something extraordinary about you, Luz. You possess a heart full of kindness, and that's precisely what Valentina needs." She took a moment to choose her words with care. "I've tried hiring caregivers in the past, but it never worked out. They were either ill-suited for Valentina or too intrusive. Valentina is exceptionally sensitive, and I need someone I can truly trust." "I understand," Luz responded, her voice steady and imbued with resolve. "I won't let you down. I'll strive to be a loving sister to Valentina and support her in every way possible." She looked out, watching the city lights fade away, feeling a burgeoning sense of purpose. Adriana drove in contemplative silence for a while, Valentina is about to turn 19, but you'll find she still has a youthful spirit at heart. Her illness has kept her isolated for a long time. I hope you two can develop a sisterly bond and grow together." Feeling a burgeoning connection with her new family, Luz turned to Adriana with a genuine curiosity. "Can you tell me more about?" Adriana's voice softened, her genuine concern and love evident as she began. "Valentina has always been a delicate soul," she said, her gaze fixed on the road ahead. "From a young age, she required constant, devoted care. This need for attention was a major factor in my ex-husband leaving us. He felt I was giving her too much focus, but he didn't understand that this was precisely what Valentina required." Adriana's voice carried traces of both bitterness and acceptance. When Valentina was just 9, her condition deteriorated significantly. Adriana continued, her eyes lost in distant recollections. "She grew weaker, and I had to overhaul my entire life as a doctor to be there for her. I cut back on my shifts but still needed to work. Valentina often felt the sting of loneliness, especially since I couldn't let her venture outside due to her condition." Luz listened attentively, her voice resonating with compassion. "I can only imagine how challenging that must have been," she said softly. "But please know that I am committed to making Valentina feel cherished and secure. I may not be a professional caregiver, but I will love and care for her with all my heart." Adriana's eyes sparkled with hope. "When I learned about your age and saw your maturity and responsibility, Luz, I believed you could be the perfect companion for Valentina, someone who she could truly relate to." Her voice was laden with gratitude and a hopeful tone. "It seems you're ready to step into this role," Adriana said, her voice filled with hope. Luz, her determination unwavering, nodded resolutely. "While I may not have all the knowledge about medical care or managing Valentina's illness just yet, I am committed to learning. I will do everything in my power to make sure she never feels isolated again." Adriana's eyes softened with profound relief and gratitude, appreciating the depth of Luz's commitment to Valentina's well-being. "I believe you're going to make a tremendous impact on her life, Luz," Adriana said warmly. As they neared the house, Luz's eyes widened in awe. The residence loomed majestically before her, its elegant architecture standing as a testament to grace and beauty. The meticulously kept garden only added to its splendor. "Wow, Adriana, your house is stunning. I've never seen anything like it, not even on television," Luz exclaimed, her voice brimming with admiration and astonishment. Adriana beamed with pride as she pointed towards the house. "I spent countless hours working as a doctor to provide for us, but this house was a gift from my parents. And now, Luz, it's your home too. You're welcome to feel entirely at ease here," Adriana said, placing a reassuring hand on Luz's shoulder and guiding her inside. As they walked through the house, Luz marveled at every detail. The elegant furnishings, the exquisite art adorning the walls, and the inviting warmth that permeated the atmosphere. Finally, Adriana opened the door to Luz's new room. It was spacious and elegantly decorated, bathed in the gentle glow of natural light. Overwhelmed with emotion, Luz sank to her knees on the floor. Tears of profound gratitude and relief streamed down her face. "Thank you, God," she whispered fervently, "for answering all my prayers through those harsh years at the orphanage." Adriana, touched by Luz's heartfelt reaction, asked gently, "Did you endure such harsh treatment at the orphanage?" There was a mix of concern and sorrow in her voice. Luz, still kneeling, nodded slowly. "It was incredibly tough. I was often ridiculed for my appearance, and people would say I would never find a family, that I would end up on the streets after leaving the orphanage because I was deemed worthless." Her words were laced with pain, but also with a sense of relief at having left that life behind. Adriana sat beside her, offering comfort with a reassuring presence. "You now have a home, a room of your own, and a sister who needs you. I will also provide financial support for you to buy the things you need. You deserve to start anew here." Her voice was gentle yet firm. Then, with a shift in tone, Adriana added earnestly, "The only request I have is that you refrain from being a negative influence on Valentina. I prefer that you avoid discussing boys or the outside world with her. Although Valentina is 19, she is still my baby, and she doesn't need to be exposed to those concerns." Her voice carried a fierce protective edge. Luz looked at Adriana, understanding the depth of a mother's concern. "I understand completely, Adriana, and I will honor your wishes. I'm committed to being a supportive sister and a positive influence for Valentina." She wiped away her tears, rising from the floor with renewed determination. As she entered Valentina's room, Luz was immediately struck by the room's enchanting beauty and the almost surreal perfection of its setting. The room was adorned in various shades of pink, from the delicate curtains to the soft bedspread. Stuffed animals and toys were scattered around, creating a whimsical, fairy tale ambience. Luz thought it odd. Despite its beauty, the room seemed oddly childlike, as if it belonged to a much younger girl. Valentina, already 19, seemed confined by the room's youthful decor, though Luz quickly pushed that thought aside, remembering Valentina's delicate health condition. In one corner, Valentina sat in a wheelchair, holding a book in her hands. Upon seeing Luz, her face brightened with a genuine smile. She swiftly reached for a handkerchief to cover her bald head, a gesture tinged with a touch of shyness. "Luz, the sister I've always dreamed of. I can hardly believe you're here," Valentina said in a soft, almost childlike voice. "Mom understands how lonely I feel, and I haven't been able to connect with any of the caregivers. You're going to be my companion." Luz felt a profound wave of tenderness as she listened to Valentina's heartfelt words. The genuine innocence and raw vulnerability in the young woman's voice struck a deep chord within her. "Of course, Valentina," Luz replied, her voice imbued with a tender warmth. "I am truly overjoyed to be your sister, and I am here not only to care for you but to be your friend as well. I want us to build a deep and meaningful bond." Her heart swelled with compassion and a fierce determination to provide comfort and companionship in this challenging time. Adriana, standing at the doorway, suddenly interrupted with an unexpectedly sharp tone. "Well, as long as Valentina doesn't forget about her mom and they don't get into frivolous conversations, just focus on the essentials, girl stuff," she said, her words laced with an undercurrent of possessiveness. Luz looked at Adriana, taken aback by the edge in her voice. The harshness seemed to hint at a deeper issue, a possible jealousy or unresolved tension from Adriana towards Valentina. Luz tried to dismiss these thoughts, attributing them instead to a mother's anxiety over her daughter's fragile health and the new dynamics within the household. Valentina, sensing the growing tension, quickly tried to steer the conversation into lighter territory. "Luz, do you enjoy reading?" she asked, her voice brightening with genuine curiosity. "I have always loved princess stories and fairy tales." Her smile, though sweet, was shadowed by a hint of sadness, reflecting the isolation she often felt. Luz responded with a heartfelt smile, determined to create a warm and positive environment. "Yes, I adore reading, Valentina. We can read together whenever you like. At the orphanage, I would spend hours in the library, escaping into different worlds through books." She settled down next to Valentina, resolved to nurture a sincere friendship and infuse some joy into the young girl's life, despite the somber circumstances. In the days following her arrival, Luz quickly became aware of the immense responsibilities that now lay before her. Although the house was a masterpiece of elegance, with its grand architecture and meticulously maintained garden, the absence of household staff meant that Luz found herself navigating a myriad of tasks. Her days were consumed with domestic chores, sweeping floors, polishing windows that framed the garden's beauty, and managing countless other responsibilities. One bright morning, as Luz prepared breakfast with care, the kitchen filled with the delightful aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingling with the sweet scent of the fruit she was slicing. Adriana entered the kitchen, her face etched with contemplation. "Luz, may I ask you something?" Adriana began, leaning on the cool granite counter. "Are these tasks becoming overwhelming for you? I understand it's a lot to manage, especially for someone who has just moved into a new home." Luz paused, the knife still in her hand as she looked up at Adriana with a blend of surprise and understanding. Not at all, she answered earnestly. Life at the orphanage was a constant lesson in self-reliance. We had to handle everything, cleaning, cooking, taking care of each other. I'm used to hard work, and honestly, I feel fulfilled and happy to be contributing here. She resumed slicing the fruit, though her thoughts drifted to the odd sense of being in a home that, despite its grandeur, felt oddly empty. Adriana exhaled with visible relief, but a new question seemed to linger on her lips. And what about cooking? Adriana asked, her tone casual yet hinting at a subtle tension. Did you learn that at the orphanage too? Unfortunately, I recently had to let go of our cook. The air around the topic seemed to carry an unspoken concern. Luz reflected for a moment before answering. Yes, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen at the orphanage. I can prepare simple but flavorful dishes and am more than willing to learn any specific recipes or techniques you need. Her voice was steady, revealing her readiness to adapt and contribute. Adriana scrutinized her with a careful gaze, as though trying to uncover the layers behind Luz's every response. That's excellent, Adriana said, her smile appearing somewhat strained. Valentina has a very sensitive stomach, so she usually eats only soups and very small portions. There's no need for anything elaborate. If she becomes particularly weak, I administer her medication through and for. Luz, her curiosity piqued by Adriana's mention of Valentina's condition, asked softly, "Only soups and?" Her voice trailed off, leaving the question hanging in the air. Luz felt a growing unease as she navigated the increasingly tense atmosphere in the house. Adriana's sudden shift from warmth to suspicion seemed directly linked to her growing bond with Valentina. The once inviting and kind-hearted woman now seemed to regard Luz with an almost palpable resentment. Luz's initial warmth and enthusiasm had begun to clash with Adriana's guarded demeanor, intensifying the sense of foreboding in the household. Despite this, Luz remained resolute in her commitment to uncovering the truth behind Valentina's illness and the peculiar dynamics within the house. She continued to care for Valentina with deep tenderness and empathy, striving to be the sister the young girl had always yearned for. Luz was determined to bring comfort and companionship to Valentina, even as she grappled with the disconcerting shifts in Adriana's behavior. One evening, as Luz sat beside Valentina's bed while she drifted off to sleep, her mind churned with unanswered questions. The puzzle pieces of Valentina's condition and Adriana's erratic behavior were slowly falling into place, yet significant gaps remained. Luz's thoughts were consumed with worries. Why was Adriana so adamant about keeping Valentina isolated from the outside world? Why had she never sought a second opinion or consulted external medical experts? The more Luz contemplated these questions, the more her anxiety grew. Determined to find answers, Luz decided to subtly probe Adriana for more information. While preparing a simple soup for Valentina the next day, she casually brought up alternative treatments she had read about. "Adriana," she began, her tone light, "I came across some interesting alternative treatments for various illnesses. Do you think there might be something beneficial for Valentina?" The reaction was immediate and intense. Adriana's face darkened, and her voice cut through the air with a harsh edge. "You will do no such thing," she snapped, her eyes flashing with anger. "Valentina's treatment is none of your concern. I know what's best for her, and I will not tolerate any interference." The cold chill that ran down Luz's spine was profound. Adriana's vehement response was a clear indication that questioning her methods was off-limits, but it also confirmed Luz's growing suspicion that something was deeply wrong. The encounter made Luz's resolve even stronger, though it now carried the weight of potential danger. Determined not to back down, Luz shifted her approach. She began to pay meticulous attention to every detail within the household: the medications Adriana administered, the subtle fluctuations in Valentina's condition, and the nuances in Adriana's interactions with her daughter. Luz started to realize that the key to unraveling the mystery might lie in these seemingly small details. As days turned into weeks, Luz's discreet observations began to form a troubling narrative. Valentina's symptoms did not align with any known illness Luz had encountered, and the medications Adriana used were unfamiliar and their labels were indecipherable. The discrepancies were alarming and suggested something more sinister might be at play. One afternoon, with Adriana away from the house, Luz seized the opportunity to investigate further. She carefully examined the contents of the medicine cabinet, noting the names and dosages of the medications. Her heart pounded with a mixture of fear and determination as she realized the seriousness of what she was doing. If Adriana discovered her actions, there would be severe repercussions. But Luz knew she couldn't afford to hesitate. Valentina's well-being was at stake, and Luz was committed to uncovering the truth, no matter the cost. That evening, as she sat with Valentina, Luz silently vowed to herself that she would not rest until she had exposed the full extent of the mystery surrounding Valentina's illness and Adriana's behavior. In the days that followed, Luz discreetly researched the medications and symptoms she had observed. The more she delved into her research, the more alarmed she became. Nothing seemed to fit, and the inconsistencies only deepened her concern. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, but the picture they formed was dark and disturbing. Despite the mounting danger and her growing anxiety, Luz knew she could not abandon her mission. Valentina needed her, and Luz was determined to protect her, no matter the personal risk. Luz found a rare source of warmth and connection in her relationship with Valentina, especially during the times they spent together away from Adriana's intimidating presence. Their bond grew stronger, providing Luz with a sense of purpose and joy amidst the underlying tension. However, Adriana's earlier confrontation had left Luz deeply shaken. The threat of being sent back to the orphanage loomed over her like a dark cloud, making her more cautious but also more resolute to stay and protect Valentina. The harshness in Adriana's words, particularly when she implied that Luz was trying to steal her place in Valentina's life, resonated in Luz's mind, amplifying her sense of unease. It became clear that Adriana's possessiveness over Valentina was more than just maternal concern. It bordered on obsession. Luz knew she was treading dangerous ground, but her commitment to Valentina drove her to press on, no matter the risks involved. That night, after her fervent prayer, Luz couldn't shake the deep-seated feeling that something was amiss. The unsettling memory of Donor Rose's cryptic warning echoed in her mind. If you want to stay in this house, don't even try to find out what's wrong with Valentina. The housekeeper's stern, almost threatening tone left Luz with a surge of anxiety and an insatiable curiosity that only fueled her resolve to uncover the truth. As days turned into a routine of anxious observations and careful actions, Luz noticed more and more peculiarities. Adriana's control over Valentina was absolute, bordering on oppressive. The young girl wasn't allowed to leave the house under any circumstances, and her every movement was meticulously monitored. Valentina's diet was strictly controlled, and any mention of her illness outside Adriana's presence was swiftly and coldly shut down. The isolation was suffocating, and Luz couldn't help but feel that the walls of the house were closing in on them both. Despite this stifling environment, Luz's bond with Valentina continued to flourish. The young girl, with her delicate smile and wistful eyes, confided in Luz about her dreams, her fears, and her deep-seated longing to experience life beyond the confines of the house. Luz listened with a heavy heart, her dreams of a peaceful and simple life increasingly overshadowed by the dark clouds of mystery surrounding them. One evening, as they sat together by the window, Valentina gazed out at the darkening sky, her voice barely above a whisper. "Luz, do you think there's a world out there for someone like me? Someone who's never been anywhere except this house?" Luz felt a sharp pang of sadness but forced a reassuring smile. "Of course, Valentina. There's a whole world out there waiting for you. And one day, I'll help you see it." For a moment, Valentina's eyes brightened with hope, but then her expression grew somber. "But Mom says I'm too sick to go anywhere. She says I could die if I leave." Luz's heart tightened at Valentina's words. She gently took the girl's hand and squeezed it, her voice filled with sincerity. "You're stronger than you know, Valentina, and you have me now. I'll do everything I can to keep you safe." As days passed, Luz became increasingly vigilant. She started keeping a detailed diary, recording every strange occurrence, every odd behavior from Adriana, and every detail about Valentina's condition. Luz understood the risks involved in her investigation but couldn't ignore the growing suspicion that something deeply sinister was at play. One afternoon, while Adriana was away from the house, Luz decided to take a closer look at the medications Adriana administered to Valentina. The labels on the bottles were often worn or tampered with, and Luz suspected that Adriana might be hiding something crucial. With her heart pounding, Luz carefully examined the bottles, trying to make sense of the unfamiliar names and ingredients. She took out her phone and discreetly snapped pictures of the labels, planning to research them later. Her hands trembled slightly as she worked, acutely aware of the potential consequences if Adriana discovered her actions. As Luz was replacing the bottles, she heard a soft voice behind her. "What are you doing, Luz?" Turning around, Luz saw Valentina standing in the doorway, her expression a mix of curiosity and concern. Luz's heart raced, but she forced herself to maintain a calm demeanor. "I was just making sure everything is in order. I want to make sure you're getting the best care." Valentina nodded slowly, though her eyes betrayed a flicker of doubt. "Mom always says she knows what's best for me. Do you think that's true, Luz?" Luz hesitated, carefully choosing her words. "Your mom loves you very much, Valentina, but it's always okay to ask questions and seek the truth. You deserve to know everything about your health and your life." Valentina's fingers nervously twisted the hem of her shirt as she looked down. "I'm scared, Luz. I don't want to make Mom angry, but I also don't want to feel so alone." Luz's heart ached at the sight of the young girl's vulnerability. She walked over and wrapped Valentina in a gentle embrace. "You're not alone, Valentina. I'm here with you, and I'll do everything I can to help you." That night, as Luz lay in bed, the weight of her decision pressed heavily upon her. She knew she had to be cautious, but she also knew she couldn't ignore the disturbing signs any longer. For Valentina's sake, she had to uncover the truth, even if it meant risking her safety. In the days that followed, Luz discreetly reached out to trusted contacts outside the house, seeking advice on the mysterious medications and Valentina's condition. She knew she had to tread carefully, moving slowly and methodically. Each step she took brought her closer to uncovering the truth, but it also deepened her understanding of just how far Adriana's control over Valentina extended, and the potential danger that loomed over the young girl. Luz's resolve only grew stronger with each passing day. She was determined to protect Valentina and to unravel the mystery of Adriana's oppressive hold, even if it meant facing the darkest corners of the truth. But Luz was determined. She had made a silent promise to Valentina, and she would do everything in her power to keep it, no matter the cost. The bond Luz had forged with Valentina transcended their dire circumstances. Despite Valentina's seemingly infantilized behavior and her apparent dependency on her mother, Luz began to see glimpses of a perceptive and hopeful young woman beneath the facade. One day, while preparing Valentina for a bath, Luz felt a deep urge to learn more about Valentina's inner world. "Valentina," Luz began, carefully adjusting the water temperature. "Do you have any dreams? Any desires? Something you want for yourself?" Valentina, sitting by the tub, looked up at Luz with a thoughtful gaze. "I'd love to hear the sound of the sea," she said wistfully, her voice almost a whisper. "Feel the waves on my feet, and I'd like to experience a great love." She hesitated, lowering her voice as if afraid of being overheard. "But Mom can never know. I've read love stories from the library, and I dream of being free of this illness, of living like a normal young woman." Luz was taken aback by the depth of Valentina's words, her heart aching with empathy. She offered a warm, reassuring smile. "What beautiful dreams. My dear sister, I didn't realize you thought so much about love. I believe one day you will find that great love, and you will be free." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "You will be free from this illness too. I have dreams of my own, like having a family and someday maybe nephews. I promise you, I will do everything in my power to help you." Valentina's eyes shimmered with a flicker of hope. "You're already doing so much for me," she said, her voice trembling with gratitude. "I don't understand why Mom is so hard on you." Luz shrugged, her expression a mix of resignation and determination. I'm used to it. I've learned to handle difficult situations. What matters now is that we're together and I can help you. As Valentina emerged from the bathroom, dressed and refreshed, Luz stood by her side, ready to assist. Without warning, Valentina suddenly staggered, a look of panic flashing across her face. Before Luz could react, Valentina collapsed, her head striking the edge of the marble sink with a sickening thud. The sharp sound of impact echoed through the bathroom, and Luz's heart leaped into her throat. Horrified, Luz rushed to Valentina's side, gathering her unconscious sister into her arms. Tears streamed down her face as she shook Valentina gently. My name is my sister. Please don't leave me alone. You're the only good thing that's ever happened to me. Luz pleaded, her voice breaking with desperation. The fear that gripped her was profound, mingled with an unwavering determination to save Valentina. Recognizing the urgency of the situation and defying Adriana's strict instructions, Luz fumbled with the phone, dialing the emergency number with trembling fingers. Each heartbeat echoed loudly in her ears as she fought to control her breathing. Emergency, how can I help? Came the calm voice on the other end. Luz took a deep breath, struggling to steady her voice. Please, I need an ambulance immediately. My sister Valentina, she's fainted and hit her head very hard. She's not waking up, and I'm terrified. Luz explained, her voice shaky but filled with urgency. Understood. Please provide your address, and we will send an ambulance as quickly as possible. The operator responded efficiently. Luz quickly relayed the address, trying to keep her voice steady despite the rising panic. She has a medical condition, but I don't know exactly what it is. Our mother handles everything and never tells us much. Please hurry. She's all I have. Luz added, feeling a lump in her throat. We're on the way. Try to stay calm. It's important not to move your sister unless necessary. Stay by her side and talk to her. I'll stay on the line until the ambulance arrives. The operator instructed, their tone calming. Holding Valentina carefully, Luz spoke softly, hoping her voice would provide some comfort. Valentina, please listen to me. I'm here with you. Help is coming. I won't leave you. Please fight with me. Tears flowed freely as Luz gently caressed Valentina's hand, anxiously awaiting the sound of the approaching ambulance. At the hospital, the medical team worked swiftly while Luz waited, consumed by worry. When Valentina finally regained consciousness, she appeared confused and disoriented. A doctor approached Luz, who explained that she was Valentina's sister and provided what little information she had about the situation. As the medical team assessed Valentina's condition, Luz's heart remained heavy with concern, her resolve to protect and care for Valentina stronger than ever. She fainted suddenly, Luz explained to the doctor, her voice trembling with a mix of uncertainty and fear. She has an illness, but I don't know exactly what it is. According to our mother, she can't leave the house. The doctor, maintaining a professional and calm demeanor, nodded. We're going to perform a series of tests to understand what caused the fainting. For now, she is stable and out of danger. The trauma wasn't severe, she said, offering a glimmer of reassurance amid the chaos. Valentina, hearing the conversation, clutched Luz's arm tightly. Please, Luz, take me home. I'm so scared of Mom. You don't know her. She will destroy you, she whispered, her eyes wide with panic. Luz looked at Valentina, her resolve hardening. Nothing else matters right now except your health, she said firmly, gripping Valentina's hand. I'll take care of you, no matter what happens. The doctor soon returned to the room with a mixed expression of concern and confusion, causing a surge of anxiety and anticipation in Luz and Valentina. I have both good and confusing news, the doctor began, glancing between the two. Valentina, clearly impatient and eager to leave, interrupted. Give me the good news first. I want to go. The doctor nodded, still looking perplexed. The good news is that we didn't find any serious problems with you, Valentina. However, the confusing part is that we didn't find any signs of cancer or previous cancer treatments. The main issues are severe malnutrition and a significant lack of vitamin D, likely due to insufficient sun exposure. Luz was struck with a jolt of realization. The doctor's words aligned with her suspicions and intuition. Valentina, however, seemed incredulous and defensive. "The doctor doesn't know anything," she snapped. "My mother is a much better doctor and knows more about my condition." Still reeling from the revelation, Luz asked to speak privately with the doctor. "I need to tell you about the situation at home," Luz said urgently. "Adriana's relationship with Valentina has always seemed odd to me. I've noticed that Valentina's hair doesn't fall out, but Adriana shaves her head periodically." The doctor's expression grew increasingly concerned as she listened. "Have you heard of Munchausen syndrome by proxy?" she asked. "It's a condition where someone pretends or intentionally induces health problems in another person, often a child, to gain attention and sympathy or to keep that person under control." Luz felt a shiver of understanding. "That makes sense. It's exactly what's happening," she said, her shock mingled with relief at finally grasping the truth. When Luz returned to Valentina's bed, her heart sank as she discovered Valentina was missing. Panic surged through her as she frantically searched the hospital, questioning nurses and security personnel, but to no avail. Outside the hospital, a taxi driver approached Luz. "Are you looking for a thin girl in hospital clothes? She got into a taxi that was in front of mine," he said, pointing in the direction the taxi had gone. Fear gripped Luz's heart. Valentina was likely heading back home, and she dreaded what Adriana might do once she found out. Tears streamed down her face as she voiced her fears. "She can't go back to that crazy woman who's faking an illness to keep her prisoner at home," she sobbed, her voice choked with anguish. Moved by Luz's distress, the taxi driver offered to help. "Let's go quickly," he said, starting his cab towards Adriana's house. As they sped towards the residence, Luz's mind raced with anxiety and determination, her only thought being to prevent Valentina from returning to her manipulative mother. When Luz arrived at Adriana's house, she was stunned to see a police car parked out front. Her heart sank as she saw Adriana hugging Valentina and shouting at the officers. "Was this poor girl I rescued from the basement of an orphanage the one who stole my sick daughter? If anything happens to my daughter, I want her locked up forever." Valentina, tears streaming down her face, tried desperately to defend Luz. "Mom, please don't talk like that. She just wanted to help me because I fainted. She didn't mean any harm. Nothing happened in the hospital," she pleaded, casting a worried glance at Luz as if trying to convey a silent message of support. Luz, overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation, quickly sided with Valentina and apologized to Adriana. "I'm sorry I got desperate and didn't know what to do," Luz said, her voice choked with tears. The policeman, observing the tense scene, spoke firmly. "This is a family issue. Resolve it among yourselves. There hasn't been a crime," he said, glancing at the situation one last time before leaving. Luz, still crying, begged Adriana for forgiveness, but Adriana was unyielding. "I don't care about your apologies. I want you to leave this house immediately. Live on the street where you belong," Adriana said coldly. Valentina, her voice breaking with emotion, begged her mother not to do this. "Mom, please don't do this to Luz," she cried. Adriana remained resolute. "Can I at least gather my things?" Luz asked quietly. As she hurriedly packed her few belongings into a backpack, Adriana blocked her path. Suddenly, Valentina burst into the room, her face marked by fear and desperation. "Valentina, what are you doing here? Your mother is going to be furious with us," Luz said, astonished and anxious. Valentina, tears in her eyes, looked at Luz with a mix of gratitude and sadness. "You've given me the best days of my life so far. I love you like a sister," Valentina sobbed. Luz, her heart heavy with sisterly love and determination, replied, "Valentina, come with me. I heard the doctor. You're not sick. Your mother is keeping you weak to control you. Your hair would grow normally if she didn't shave it. We can go see the sea together." Valentina shook her head, her eyes conflicted. "I can't leave my mother, Luz. I am all she has," she said, her voice trembling. Luz's eyes burned with intense emotion. "What Adriana is doing to you is cruel. You have the right to live your own life, to be happy, and to experience the world outside. It's not fair. I'll find a way to help you." Valentina hugged Luz tightly, crying uncontrollably. "I'm going to miss you so much," she said, her words muffled by tears. The embrace between them was both a farewell and a promise of reunion. Then, Adriana stormed into the room, her fury palpable. "Get out of my house now," Adriana screamed at Luz. "You're a traitor, a poor woman with no family. Never come back here." The venom in Adriana's voice was terrifying. Luz, tears streaming down her face, took one last look at Valentina before stepping out of the room. As she left, she made a silent vow. She would find a way to save her sister. Alone on the street with only her backpack and a small amount of money, Luz felt the weight of uncertainty and fear pressing down on her. "My God, help me. What can I do now?" she prayed. An idea sparked in her mind. She remembered the doctor who had explained Valentina's condition and the possibility that Adriana was committing a crime. With renewed determination, Luz headed back to the hospital. She found the doctor and, with tears in her eyes, recounted everything that had transpired. "They kicked me out of the house and now I don't know what to do. You have Valentina's test results. Can you help me save my sister?" Luz implored, her desperation evident. The doctor, moved by Luz's plight, embraced her with warmth. "I'll gather all the tests we did on Valentina. We'll talk to the police and social services to find a place where you can stay," she said, her voice full of compassion and resolve. Together, they went to the police station, where the doctor explained Valentina's delicate and vulnerable situation. "We need to act quickly to save this young woman. She's in danger," the doctor urged, her concern palpable. The doctor carefully explained the gravity of the situation to the police, detailing how Adriana's actions had severely impacted Valentina. Luz, remembering that Adriana would be away the next day, suggested a plan. "We can go with the police to rescue Valentina and wait for Adriana to leave," Luz said urgently. The police, acknowledging the seriousness of the matter, agreed but emphasized that Valentina's testimony was crucial for any legal action. "The tests are conclusive, but we need Valentina's statement to proceed legally," one officer said. Feeling a mix of relief and determination, Luz knew the road ahead would be challenging but was resolute in her quest for justice. The next morning, after Adriana left for work, Luz, accompanied by the police, arrived at the house ready to begin the rescue. When Luz called for Valentina, it was Mrs. Rosa who answered the door. Her fear was palpable, but her face softened when she recognized Luz. With tears in her eyes, she embraced Luz tightly. "My daughter Valentina told me what happened," Mrs. Rosa said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I know my home is humble, but you have a place with me if you need it. Your heart is good, and I want to help." Luz, touched by the offer, expressed her gratitude but explained the urgency of the situation. "I'm here with the police. We're here to rescue Valentina today, and we need your testimony," Luz said, her resolve clear. Mrs. Rosa, overjoyed and relieved, responded, "I can't believe it. Finally, God heard my prayers. This poor girl is going to be saved." She wiped her tears and prepared to assist the police, providing them with the detailed information she had gathered over the years. While the police collected Mrs. Rosa's testimony, Luz sought out Valentina. The two embraced, tears mingling as they shared a moment of profound emotion. "Valentina, you need to be strong now more than ever," Luz urged. "This is our chance. You must talk to the police." Valentina, tearful and conflicted, spoke of her inner turmoil. "I can't do this to my mother. I love her, Luz. You don't understand," she said, her voice choked with sorrow. Luz held Valentina close, her tone firm yet loving. "You need to be strong. We're sisters for life, and I will never abandon you. We'll see the sea together, but first you must be brave." Encouraged by Luz's words, Valentina agreed to testify. Before meeting with the police, she asked Luz for a promise. "Promise you'll never abandon me," Valentina requested, drying her tears. Luz solemnly affirmed, "Never. We are sisters for life. Remember that." As Valentina sat with the police, she began to recount her story. She described her childhood, how Adriana kept her confined, and the periodic shaving of her head. "She wanted to keep me all to herself," Valentina said, her tears flowing freely. The room was filled with an atmosphere of sadness and resolve as Valentina revealed the full extent of her suffering. When Adriana arrived home, her panic was palpable. Screaming furiously, she demanded, "Where is my daughter? What have you done with my baby? She's sick. You don't understand. You can't touch her." Her voice was a mixture of rage and fear. Seeing Luz and Valentina together, Adriana's fury reached a boiling point. She lunged toward them, her eyes wild with anger, but the police swiftly restrained her. "Adriana is under arrest," an officer declared, holding her firmly, "for abuse, unlawful deprivation of liberty, and attempted murder." Her actions nearly cost her daughter's life. As Valentina watched the scene unfold, the weight of the moment and the truth became overwhelming. She turned to her mother, her voice breaking with pain and confusion. "Mom, forgive me, please," she sobbed. "Why did you do this to me?" Each word was a painful reflection of years of mistrust and suffering. "I always believed in you. I trusted you. You were my world, my only truth," she continued, her tears unrelenting. "But why? Why keep me imprisoned? Why tell me I was sick when I wasn't? Why deprive me of life, making me suffer from hunger?" Valentina's gaze was fixed on Adriana, seeking answers. "All I wanted was to be your daughter, to be loved by you. But now I see that your love was a prison, one that nearly cost me my life," she said, her voice gaining strength despite her tears. "You took away my chances to know, to explore, to love. I lived in the shadow of your imagined illness, believing I was fragile and needed you to survive, but it wasn't true." Valentina's outpouring of words was a cathartic release from years of manipulation and control. "Mom, I love you. That will never change. But you hurt me in ways I can't even explain. I need to learn to be Valentina, not your sick Valentina, but my person," she said, beginning to come to terms with the magnitude of her ordeal. She looked at her mother one last time, her eyes a mix of love and pain. "I hope one day you understand the harm you've done and find peace. And I hope to find peace too, far from all this," she concluded, turning to Luz, seeking comfort in the one person who had shown her genuine and unconditional love. As Adriana, now handcuffed, glared at Luz with a mix of tears and intense hatred, she spat venomous words. "You've ruined everything, Luz. You're a monster for doing this. You've destroyed my family," she seethed, her voice dripping with deep-seated bitterness. Her accusations were sharp, cutting through the air like blades. In the days that followed, justice took swift and decisive action. Adriana was handed a long prison sentence, and it was ruled that all her assets would be transferred to Luz and Valentina. During the court hearing, Luz, her eyes brimming with tears, embraced Valentina, who was sobbing uncontrollably. "Valentina, my sister, you are finally free to live the life you've always deserved," Luz said, her voice trembling with raw emotion. "Let's go to the sea, embark on adventures, and find love. The world is now yours." Valentina, her eyes still wet with tears, looked at Luz with profound gratitude. "I can never fully express how thankful I am. You saved me from a fate I didn't even know I needed saving from. You are more than a sister to me. You are my savior." The two sisters shared a poignant moment in the courtroom, a profound exchange of thanks and love, marking the beginning of a new chapter filled with hope and endless possibilities. With Adriana behind bars and freedom at last within their grasp, Luz and Valentina began to plan their future. The inheritance provided them with the means to pursue their dreams, and one of their first adventures was to visit the sea, a dream long held by Valentina. Upon arriving at the beach with the vast ocean stretching out before them, Luz looked at Valentina, whose hair now flowed freely like the waves. "How does it feel to finally see your dream come true?" Luz asked, watching the pure bliss on Valentina's face. Valentina, standing with her feet in the sand and her eyes lost in the ocean's expanse, replied, "It feels like experiencing God in the waves and love in my heart. It's more beautiful and powerful than I ever imagined." Her eyes sparkled with tears of joy and gratitude. "I love you, Luz. I will always be eternally grateful for everything you've done for me. You gave me my life back," Valentina said, embracing Luz as they gazed towards the horizon together. The years that followed were filled with joy and new experiences. Valentina, living her life to the fullest, met the love of her life, a connection that felt destined. They welcomed a beautiful baby girl named Lua, symbolizing the ongoing cycle of life and the love now surrounding Valentina. Though she carried the pain of her past with her, every attempt to contact Adriana was met with horror due to Adriana's continued malice. Valentina chose to leave the past behind, focusing instead on the future and the happiness she had found. Reflecting on her journey, Luz decided to channel her gratitude and newfound resources into a cause close to her heart. She approached the leaders of the orphanage where she had grown up, eager to make a difference. "I want to expand and renovate this place and rename it Sisterly Love Orphanage," Luz said, her voice filled with purpose. "It's a tribute to the bond Valentina and I share, a symbol of what we can achieve together." The orphanage leaders listened attentively, visibly moved by Luz's generosity and commitment. "This is incredible, Luz. You will truly transform this place into a haven of love and hope for these children," one leader remarked. Luz, sharing her personal story, added, "I know what it's like to feel lost and unloved. I want every child here to feel they have a home, to experience love, and to have every opportunity to shine. I want to give them what Valentina and I found together, a family." On a serene afternoon, Luz and Valentina sat together in the garden, surrounded by the calming embrace of nature. The garden was a symphony of colors and scents, with blooming flowers casting vibrant hues across the landscape. The sun was dipping low on the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, and a gentle breeze rustled through the leaves, carrying with it the sweet aroma of fresh blossoms. Valentina, her face illuminated by the soft glow of twilight, turned to Luz with a smile that radiated warmth and contentment. Her eyes, reflecting a mixture of gratitude and introspection, held a depth of emotion as she spoke. "You know, Luz," she began, her voice carrying a tone of wonder and appreciation, "sometimes I find myself reflecting on everything we've been through. It's truly remarkable how, despite the shadows and challenges we faced, we managed to carve out a path filled with love and kindness." Luz, who had been quietly absorbing the tranquility of the moment, looked at Valentina with eyes that mirrored her sister's sentiment. She took Valentina's hand in hers, feeling the warmth and familiarity of their bond. "Yes, Valentina," Luz replied softly, her voice trembling slightly with emotion. "Our journey has been anything but easy. We've faced obstacles that seemed insurmountable and endured trials that tested our very souls. Yet, through it all, we discovered a strength within ourselves that we never knew existed. Together, we proved that even in the deepest darkness, light and goodness can find their way through." Valentina's expression softened further, and she let out a deep, contented sigh. Her eyes, shimmering with unshed tears, betrayed the depth of her feelings. "You've changed my life in ways I can't even begin to describe, Luz. You showed me a world that I never thought possible, a world brimming with possibilities, love, and hope. When I was trapped in the confines of my past, I couldn't imagine a future like this. But now, with you by my side, I see that dreams can truly come true. I have my beautiful daughter, Lua, and a life that feels so rich and fulfilling. It's more than I ever dared to hope for." The two sisters sat in companionable silence, their hands still entwined as they gazed at the sky. The setting sun painted the heavens with a tapestry of colors, deep oranges, soft pinks, and golden yellows, that seemed to celebrate the moment of peace they were experiencing. The garden around them was a testament to new beginnings, with its blooming flowers symbolizing the fresh start they had both embraced. As they looked out at the horizon, their hearts full of reflection and gratitude, the world seemed to slow down, allowing them to savor the serenity of the moment. The sky, now transitioning into twilight, felt like a canvas upon which their future dreams and hopes were being painted. Valentina, her voice a whisper of contentment, spoke again. In this quiet moment, I feel so incredibly grateful for everything we've achieved together. We've come through so much, and now, with every day that passes, I see how far we've come and how beautiful life can be. Luz, her gaze fixed on the horizon, nodded in agreement. Yes, Valentina, we've been through the darkest nights, but we've emerged into a future filled with light. We've found not only our strength, but also the joy of sharing it. This garden, this peaceful moment, it all feels like a testament to the love and perseverance that brought us here. With the last rays of sunlight casting a golden glow over them, Luz and Valentina shared a tender hug, their hearts full of unspoken promises and dreams. It was a moment of pure, unfiltered emotion, a celebration of their bond, their resilience, and the boundless future that awaited them. As the sky darkened and the first stars began to twinkle above, Luz and Valentina knew that their journey together was far from over. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, and now they looked forward to a future filled with endless possibilities. The garden, the sunset, and their shared reflections were all part of a new chapter, one of hope, love, and endless adventure. In that tranquil evening, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the warmth of each other's company, Luz and Valentina felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. They were ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing that, together, they could face anything and build a life filled with the love and happiness they had always deserved. As we come to the end of this deeply moving journey, we've witnessed a story of resilience, love, and transformation. From the darkest moments of despair to the powerful emergence of hope and new beginnings, Luz and Valentina's story is a testament to the strength found in love and the incredible potential for healing and growth. We've explored how, even in the face of overwhelming adversity, the human spirit can triumph and create a life filled with joy and possibilities. This narrative reminds us of the power of unconditional love, the importance of support and perseverance, and the profound impact of overcoming obstacles together. So, what have you learned from Luz and Valentina's inspiring journey? How do you plan to bring these lessons into your own life? We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections. Share in the comments below one key takeaway that resonates with you and how you plan to apply it to your own experiences. If you enjoyed this video and found it meaningful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more uplifting content and inspiring stories. Your support helps us continue creating content that touches hearts and changes lives. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.